Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Miller. Every week, I chat with fascinating people from all walks of life in order to bring you knowledge, inspiration, and insight. If you enjoy the show, you can support it by subscribing, leaving a review, and sharing it with a friend. This is the Jeremy Miller Podcast. Sick, dude. You listened to Rogan and Trump to prepare for this?
I did. And I listened to Call Her Daddy with Kamala.
I haven't listened to that one. How is it?
It is a lot about women.
Really?
And which is great.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they need the time, but it had zero political commentary, I feel like.
Interesting. Yeah, dude, this shit's wild. I just listened to the Trump and Vance that they released today.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you had him on yesterday, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was actually, we got text from on at gym saying Wednesday, 12 to 4, be prepared because you can't get in or out of the parking lot because it's his studios near there.
Oh, I think Brie might be home. Interesting. I didn't know that's where it was.
Yeah.
I knew it was somewhere South Austin. Because like Secret Service and shit would be over there. Yeah. Oh,
they had horses, the horse cops out there.
Really?
Random. I don't know what they're supposed to do against a car, but they're intimidating as fuck. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn. Were you there during that time?
No, I just got pictures.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dude, stuff's getting crazy out there. I think that podcast with Trump and Rogan, I think cumulatively it's got to be over like 100 million views in like a week.
Yeah, it's
freaking nuts.
It was crazy on YouTube, and you saw they started
censoring it.
Yeah, censoring it.
Or
not promoting it.
Yeah.
As they should have.
This shit's wild. It'll be interesting. I don't know. Either way, whatever happens, it'll be crazy, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. This podcast should be just as influential, I think.
I think even more so. More so for the people.
I think so too. Probably more value in this, I would imagine.
For those that can't see, Jeremy's wearing a Make America Healthy Again hat, which I'm assuming is with RFK.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. He joined like Team Trump.
Absolutely. He did. I was a huge RFK fan. I still am. And
I think he had like the highest percentage of independent votes, like in the polls that anybody's ever had.
Yeah.
I think he was up to like 8 or 9%, which is pretty crazy for an independent. Yeah. I like RFK. He's I just like what he stands for, like healthy environment, like all the above.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thinking about things critically, which is a skill lost.
That's very true.
These days.
Hard to find these days. Yeah. Dude, I think a lot of the stuff in this podcast has to do with making America healthy.
Yes. All right. Is that our segue in?
Let's do it. Dude, Gus, thanks for being here, man. There's so much to talk about. One, you have like a really incredible story that I didn't know about till recently.
Okay.
Your personal story and journey into fitness. And then I know you're also obviously super passionate about fitness and like optimization and training and health and just all this stuff. So first off, like maybe tell people just broadly, like what Gus does, who you are, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm really labeling myself as a hybrid athlete. But I joke about that term, and we've talked about it at length, where hybrid athlete is now this really trendy term, just meaning that you're doing running and endurance sports as well as strength training. And that is pretty much what every major athlete or real athlete does anyway, right? No one's just running and not doing any kind of strength training on their own, and vice versa. I think it's important to do a little bit of both. But who I am as an athlete, I would say I started as a soccer player growing up, and I ran track as well and just loved to compete. And you start to kind of lose some of those opportunities to compete when you graduate from high school, and maybe you're not playing sports in college except intramurals, and you're going crazy with intramural sports on a random Thursday night. But then you lose that in post-grad. And I started getting into half Ironmans and loved doing that, especially during COVID, because it was a great time to get out of gyms and just be out and about in endurance sports. And then finding HYROX was a really big discovery for me in the last 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. And just doing strength training and running at the same time and seeing how you can balance those, because the classic argument is, oh, well, if you do cardio, you can't hold on to muscle, you can't hold on to strength. And like, yeah, there's trade-offs, but you can do both for sure. There's definitely some beefy boys out there on the track.
Yeah, and you had like a pretty significant weight loss journey in there, right?
I did, yeah. So maybe I should rewind. That's probably what you're getting at here. So I, in 2017, I started my first year of work outside of school. And yeah, I was weighing about like 230, 235 and was just eating because I thought I had to eat more to get bigger, to get stronger, and not really understanding caloric balance and just like eating and working out and going out in DC. And I started my weight loss journey and just really got strict with what I was eating and reducing my size of my meals, especially at dinner. And I lost about 35, 37 pounds in like a year and a half.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, so what are you, how tall are you?
I am 5'11".
5'11". What are you at now? Like 180, 190?
I'm 187.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dude, that's 35 pounds. That's significant.
Yeah.
Especially for like, I mean, I feel like you're just like built, like you're a bigger dude, like a bigger frame.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight, and I feel it when I'm running. And you definitely start to. Yeah. I've been starting to record my weights on my big runs, on my big races, because like it's important to see like running with an extra 5-pound dumbbell or 10-pound dumbbell of body weight is significant. Yeah. So
were you running back when you were 235?
I was, yes, but not nearly the scale and the mileage that I'm running right now.
Yeah, dude, that's so crazy. I can't imagine you being another like 35, 45 pounds heavier.
I know. I could show you some pictures. I think I sent some on email before. But
yeah, I saw like it's
unrecognizable.
It's you, but just a little thicker.
Yep, rounder
yes.
for sure.
Man, that's crazy because like before I knew that, like I'm just like, okay, Gus, probably lifetime athlete.
Yeah.
Like freak. Like in HYROX and marathons, all this stuff. Like I would have never imagined you were like overweight at one point.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, everybody starts from somewhere, and I was just a pretty regular soccer player and a pretty regular 800 runner. I mean, a 207, 800, nothing like crazy by most track terms. And you just start to really get disciplined and stack days and be consistent, and results will start happening. So yeah, I was thinking about like as I was preparing for this. Oh yeah, like a 5-mile run used to seem like so much in high school, and like a 13-mile run was unheard of in post-grad, and now like these are just daily occurrences for me. So
that's so cool.
Yeah,
dude, fitness is so amazing. How do you feel different mentally now from when you were back then?
Absolutely, you can do hard shit now.
Yeah,
right. Like it's just you have approach things differently, and I think the more belief you grow in yourself, like I can do this thing and I can do this next thing, and something a little heavier weight and maybe a different division, and you just your self-confidence grows a lot, and then you can do way more with that.
What was the biggest thing you changed to lose that weight? I mean, that's a significant amount of weight to drop.
Yeah. So really, I say this, my daily training was pretty much the same. I was doing CrossFit at the time about 4 or 5 days a week. Granted, I don't necessarily recommend that, but I was working out 4 to 5 times a week. And just reduce my portion size, especially at dinner. I was eating these massive dinners and I didn't need to. And I saw this rule that really stuck with me, which is only eat till you're about 80% full, because your body takes about 30 minutes to really like tell your brain, I'm done eating, I'm full. And if you're still hungry after like 30 minutes, go ahead and eat some more. But yeah, and then your portion size gets better, and stacked over 3 or 4 meals a day, like you're eating way less calories, and you start to lose weight. It's basic calories in, calories out.
That's awesome. I think I'm pretty sure that's like a Japanese thing. It's like part of their culture.
Yeah.
There's a word for it. It's like only eat till you're 80% full.
Yeah.
And then you're done.
Maybe that's where I got it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you didn't change anything you didn't change what you were eating, just how much?
No, I mean, protein is so important in your diet. So I would be remiss not to mention that, but it is, I was eating healthy. My mom raised me to eat really healthy, and I really appreciate that. And, just eating nutrient-dense foods with fiber in them was super important, and I made sure that was part of it. So it was less like pastas and more sweet potatoes. I actually went plant-based for a while too, which I recommend. I mean, anybody try all these different diets. There's so much conflicting evidence about all these different diets, and it's nice just to try it, see how it fits for you, because all of our gut microbiomes are all different. So I did that for my triathlon days, and I performed great, which is counterintuitive. People are like, oh, you need meat. Like I did great then. Now I'm eating red meat again, and it's helping a lot with other things and building size and muscle. But I think a lot of it depends on your goals, and then again, it's just like what's your DNA like. Yeah,
and there's only one way to find that out, and just
absolutely
test a bunch of things. Because I know plenty of endurance athletes that are carnivore or low carb. I know plenty of endurance athletes that are vegan. Like there's so many different people that do all these different things, and it's like there's no one size fits all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What like did something spark in your brain of like, I gotta lose this weight? Or is it just kind of like a slow, like was there a specific event or something that happened?
Yeah, there was. It was just constant rejections. And dating in DC was hard. It was really, I was like, something's got to change. And it was a matter of like, not necessarily, oh, I'm fat, I need to get fit. It was just like, I'm just going to focus on improving myself to the nth degree in everything. Damn. And that was work, where I had a consulting job in DC, and like going after the clients that I wanted, and like the jobs that I wanted, and yeah, going and like making sacrifices, and doing that with food and with working out made tremendous progress for me as a person, and in my fitness as well.
I love that. Do you have like, is there a part of that old Gus that's still in there?
What do you mean?
Like in terms of like maybe lack of self-confidence, or like do you have to, I mean, like for me personally, like I have some weak other voice in my head every day that I have to like beat basically, or like tell to shut up, because it's like, just sit on the couch, just lay in bed, you don't need to run today.
Yeah.
Like, do you have that, or have you like learned how to defeat that?
I mean, absolutely, everybody does. I think the self-control. I mean, this week I had a hard week at work, and I was telling my girlfriend, I'm eating brownies at 10 a.m. after a hard meeting. Like, what am I doing? I still can't, like, if I have sweets in the house, I will find them, and I just can't buy them. I just have to limit myself. Hey, I'll buy one sweet thing a week, and if you finish it by Tuesday, you're done. Like, you can't get any more. And that helps me a lot. Because, yeah, the self-control is hard, even though I'm burning through tons and tons of calories. But I'd say fitness-wise, no. Like, I feel energized. I feel confident in myself. I know what I can do. I know where I am relative to my training and roughly how I will perform. But I'm still human. Like, I still feel like my weakness is more so in like my self-confidence and career and where that's going. And like, I tell friends jokingly, like, I don't get jealous on Instagram or on, well, I don't use Twitter, but I do get like anxious on LinkedIn. Like, I'm like, oh shit, like my friend is this stupid person from high school is a VP at a bank. Like, what am I doing? I'm like, it's not necessarily true, as we know, but.
Do you enjoy what you do?
I do.
I mean, that's the most important thing, right?
Yeah. I have a corporate job, for those that don't know me. A lot of people don't know that about me, and they're like, what, you do corporate stuff? I'm like, yeah, like I've got a normal desk job. Granted, it's based in Germany, so I have different working hours, but that allows me to do the fitness stuff that I do. And I'm super grateful for it.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you're such a relatable guy. One, like the weight loss thing, you weren't always just like this freak athlete.
Yeah.
It was in there somewhere, but you had to extract it.
Absolutely.
And you're not like me, where you don't have a like, or where you do have a real 9-to-5 or like corporate type job. So like, it's so much more relatable to somebody like you, because it's like, you're just like every other person out there. Like, they have a job, they don't have like insane genetics or something. It's like, you work hard, you show up, and you're consistent, and people love that kind of stuff.
I appreciate it. And yeah, I there are those people like that, and you just got to find them in your community. And Austin's a great spot, but I'm sure every city has them, where there's different ways to find them, whether that's Strava or run clubs or whatever else at the gym. But there's some badass people out there that are doing both. And when you find them, it energizes you, and then you start doing stuff that you didn't think you could.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, that's something I was leaning into with my latest posts, and Murray Shield, one of my good friends, helped me film some of that. And it highlighted like, yeah, I'm hybrid in the sense that I run and I lift, but I'm also hybrid in the fact that like I have a corporate job and I fucking rip it after work and like get after it in the gym. So
yeah, dude, that's a lot to balance and manage. I'm like, how do you go about that? Because obviously, like, you're for people that don't know, 64-minute HYROX Pro time.
Yeah, 63:54.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta update your Instagram then. I think it said 64.
I should.
Is it? I think it was
64:54. Excuse me.
I was like, okay, I think it was 64.
Just under 65.
Okay. Insanely fast for people that don't know HYROX.
Yes.
Because the world record's what, 53 minutes?
Yes.
So I mean, you're within 10 minutes basically of the world record.
A very hard 10 minutes, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like shaving off 10 seconds in the mile or something like that. It's tough, but like, I mean, that's still got to be top 1%, right?
Yeah.
Easily.
I think I calculated it with my buddies Robin and Gunther, who are also here in Austin, and we're all somewhere in the top 250 in the world.
Dang.
But that's not standing for long. There's so many more people that are getting in the sport, and they're kicking our asses.
Yeah, dude. There's I feel like I just heard about HYROX like a year ago, maybe. And I mean, it's been around for 5-6 years, and it's like, it just exploded. It's like this exponential rise.
Yeah. For those, should we mention what HYROX is? For
yeah,
those
people that don't know, just explain it.
Yeah. So really, the high level explanation is that it's a functional fitness race. It is 8 runs and 8 workout movements back to back. Those runs are 1K. So that totals 8K. That's about 5 miles for the US folks. And the workout movements are the same each time. You can check them out on the website. And that consistency is great because people know exactly what they're getting into. But also, I like it because none of those are things that you're going to get stuck on. Like you can chip away at each of those. So if you're tired, you're like, oh, I can't keep going, you just stop, rest, and keep going. It's not like a pull-up where if you can't get the next pull-up, then you're kind of just stuck.
Yeah.
So there's no pull-ups, there's no gymnastics, no barbells. It's different than CrossFit. We got to say it. But
that's the number one comment I get when I post about HYROX. Isn't this just CrossFit?
Yep. I was thinking about that on the way up here too. Like the one guy that was like, this is CrossFit. I'm like, that's like saying football and rugby are the same thing.
Same.
And then
different.
he said they are. And I'm like, okay, sir, you win this argument. Thank you. Internet, have a nice day.
Yeah. Dude. It's I mean, there's like the things you do in CrossFit or the things you do in HYROX are also in CrossFit.
Yeah.
But the structure of it's completely different.
Yeah. Fitness.
So different.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's okay, so you ran 64 minutes.
Yep.
Insanely fast for the pro weight. Also, like another element there that's important. The pro weights are just heavier, or the pro division is just heavier than the open.
Yes.
What was your first introduction into HYROX? How'd you get into it?
I saw it. I was training for my first marathon, which was 2 years ago in Dallas. And it was a race nearby. It was in Dallas in November. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be training. I'm going to be in shape. Why not give this a little try? See what it's all about. And I did. And it hooked me. I'm like, this is a great way to balance out. Like you can't be too fast and lean. Like you have to have some strength to you. And you can't be super bulky and strong. Like you have to work on your cardio. So yeah.
What was that, an open or pro race?
I've only done pro.
Really?
Yeah. I just dived right in.
Dang. Do you know why? I don't know if you're able to answer this because you don't work at HYROX. Like, do you know why you can just sign up for pro? Is it just like, because when I hear the word pro, I'm like, you have to qualify or do a certain time or something. But I guess it's just a terminology between the weights.
Yeah, it is. That's a great question. And I don't work for HYROX, but I know a lot of people that do. And they would probably say HYROX is a race for everybody. That's their big brand. 98% of the people that start a race will finish it.
That's
and
cool.
Yeah, I think it was even higher at one point. And I mean, they're just getting bigger and bigger numbers.
Yeah.
But it is doable by pretty much everybody. There's people not in wheelchairs, but there's now handicap divisions as well, and people with different disabilities, and it's a phenomenal way to work out and have like a competition to train for and put on your schedule and work for.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's because there's no DNF, right? You can't not finish.
You could walk off the track if you want, and that's that 1%. But
there's no cutoff times, I guess.
No. And everyone, the great thing about this too is if you're thinking about this, it's in a convention center, so all the workouts are in the middle, and you're running around the edge of the convention center like a track. And all these heats are going, so no one's watching just you, right? A lot of people kind of get nervous, like, oh, I'm going to be last, like people are going to see me. Like there's tons and tons of heats. They're all using the same track. So there's some speedsters and there's some slow people. And they're all on there. So like no one's really like seeing you like struggle in one spot or another. Like it is super welcoming. There's all different shapes and sizes and fitness levels. So
that's so cool. Yeah. I hope that it continues to grow because it's like a very low barrier to entry, I feel like.
Yeah.
The weights aren't like crazy heavy if you just do the open, and none of the movements are like overly technical. You don't have to like overhead squat or like a lot of things that prevent people from going into CrossFit. And it's just like, you learn how to do the movements at like a basic level, and then you just get through them.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't have all the equipment, like there's a lot of affiliates you can find online that will have some of the equipment, if not all. But they're all things you can train for in other ways, right? If you don't have a sled to pull, you can do rows. You can do deadlifts and practice that step back with the rope in your hands. So it's all very doable, and I highly recommend it to anyone that's kind of getting, oh, I'm kind of burned out of marathons, or oh, like I want something on the calendar. It's a great in between.
Yeah. What was your first HYROX like? How did that go?
Yeah. So first HYROX, as I said, I was training for Dallas Marathon, my first marathon, and this is just 2 years ago, which is kind of wild to think about, because fitness grows exponentially, and you surround yourself with badass people doing this, and people start to love it. Yeah. So I signed up for pro. I was like, why not? Like, let's let it rip. There is no like, you don't have to, anyone can sign up for pro. Like it's just heavier, as we said. I met Robin there for the first time.
Oh,
I
nice.
was like, oh, this guy seems serious. Like, I'm going to try to hang on to him. And like, he had a lot more experience. He crushed me after
He's a
the sled
beast.
push. Yeah.
Both
He's a
of you
beast.
guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think my time was 2:15 or not 2:15, 1:15.
That's still great.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a great experience. And I mean, I had the marathon running under my belt. So like the running I could kind of recover on, but yeah, the stations, I had no idea what to expect or how heavy things were actually going to be. So yeah, that sled push is heavy.
Yeah. How long did you train? Like, were you training like you are now?
I was doing more marathon stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was just like, all right, let's see what happens here. I've got some strength.
And that shows how running dominant the sport is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the splits, about 60% of your time for most athletes is spent running. Yeah.
That makes
So if you want to get
sense.
better, guys, you got to run.
Run more.
Sorry.
What was the process like qualifying for HYROX Worlds?
Challenging and getting more challenging every year. I qualified in Dallas last year, 2023, and I ran just above a 65, I think 65.04. That was first in my age group, which is how you qualify, and second overall.
Dang. And then you ran the World Championships in, I don't know, is it Nice?
Yeah.
Nice, France?
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
That was incredible. It's super fun to be at the World Champs. It just really brings the whole world together on this incredible stage. Everyone's hyped to be there. It is all pro weights. So people can qualify in the open division and still race in the worlds, which is kind of dicey. People are still trying to figure out kind of how that works, but it is inclusive, right? Like if you are not quite ready to do the pro rates, you can still qualify in open and then kind of work your way up to it.
That's cool.
But it's so much fun. Energy is contagious. It's going to be in Chicago this year, so very excited for that. Hopefully, I can qualify this year, but it is not my goal. My goal is to improve my PR and focus on my race. I mean, this sport is getting really way more competitive, and I just turned 30, so now I'm the most competitive of the age groups. So it's going to be very hard.
What time do you think you'd have to run if you had to guess? I know you never know till race day.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think most people are hitting like 62, if not like sub 60 to qualify for these. So especially the bigger races, absolutely sub 60.
that's crazy.
Which is crazy. So the number of qualifying spots depends on worlds, like the world committee deciding how many are allocated, right? If it's a big race, maybe they'll say the top 2 per age group. But most races, it's just the top 1 in the age group.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dang, dude, that'd be sick if you qualified.
Yeah.
Because there's some like pretty big names that are running
Absolutely.
that are probably in your division, like Hunter McIntyre.
Yes.
I'm guessing he's in that one.
Hunter, I think, well, he's older than me, but, maybe he's not, but Hunter's going to be there. Nick Bear is going to be there. Dylan Scott will be there. I'm sure many of the other big names.
Is Robin in your division?
Yes.
Oh.
Now Robin and I are the same age.
Dude.
So yeah, we're all competing against each other.
Are you faster than Robin?
Robin is faster than me right now. For now.
For now. Well, he's got one bum hamstring. So that's
yeah,
over.
as of recently. He just texted me. I feel bad.
Dude, I was there when he pulled it last week. We were doing hill sprints.
Okay.
And
what hill were you guys on?
It was over by Squatch.
Yep, up the street.
Yeah, kind of by like Yellow Jacket, on the backside of Yellow Jacket. And he did like 4 or 5 reps, and I think somebody else and him were like kind of going at the same time when they were pushing each other. And I think he pushed a little too hard.
Dang.
And he's like, dude, I felt something pop. And he just walked like a mile back to the gym.
Dude.
Yeah.
I feel for him, and that happened to me last season. I did the same thing. It was not hill sprints, but it was a silly little 4x100 race. I don't know why I was doing 4x100s after my training, but I'm like, I got what I deserved. That was silly. I encourage sprinting to a degree, but not after you did a hard workout and not when your body's tired. So
And have you had a lot of injuries?
I have not. I've been lucky, knock on wood, hard. But it's been a pretty safe road. I really try to be cautious with things. I love soccer, but I don't play intramural soccer because it's just not worth the risk reward right now.
Yeah, you seem very intentional with your training.
Thank you.
And like very dialed in, not too hard, but hard when you need to be.
Yeah.
And you're just being smart about it.
That's actually something I'd love to talk about.
Yeah.
And one of your prompts was what would I recommend to other people for training? And one of those is intentionality, right? On your hard days, go hard. Wear your race gear, fuel up properly, treat it like it is a race. On your easy days, take it easy. And it's this polarization, I think, is the next step in fitness science. We're seeing it a lot. People saying avoid the gray zones for triathlon training. And make your easy days easy, your hard days hard. I think that's huge. And also in the general sense of fitness and working out, we're seeing, I love group fitness classes. I'm a coach, and there's a great energy with that and a social component and just a really fun part of it. And you can easily schedule it in your day. But when you just do those and you just grind yourself down and you're not really going super intense or super like reserved in zone 2, then you're just grinding your body away. And also that's leading to a lot of hormone imbalances in women too. And that's basically the premise, right? Stacy Sims talks about it with Huberman on her podcast. She's a great listen if you guys want to find more information from her, the expert, not me. But we're so often like kind of doing half and half, and I'm not knocking it, right? Any movement is medicine. If F45 or Orange Theory or Soul Cycle or whatever, or berries gets you moving, great. But just, I wouldn't recommend doing that 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
You got to take time to do just strength or just some cardio and balance out your training.
Yeah, that you sent me that podcast, and I listened to the first like hour this morning.
Oh wow.
And it's good. Yeah. It's mostly targeted towards like female athletes and just like females in general. But there's a lot of stuff that also applies to males, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really fascinating stuff in there. Like I think that the point of like doing high intensity stuff, but only when you can truly push high intensity.
Yeah.
Like a great point you made of like, don't do it every day because you're not gonna be able to push your true high intensity every single day.
Yeah.
So I think she said like a couple times a week, maybe like maybe 2 times. I don't think she said a specific number, but I'm sure it's subjective.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. It really depends on your health and your fitness level. But 3 or 4 days doing just hit or spin, and you're in a much better spot than doing it 5 days a week.
Yeah, that gray zone is where people get lost, I think. And that's where probably most people end up training. Yeah. Especially if they're doing those types of classes. Yeah. I mean, that's how I started running, was like I would try and run at like 7 to 7:30 pace, because it was like the hardest I could go for like 4 miles, but I wasn't really like doing anything.
Yeah. And you know what? If like I used to do those on Fridays, I'd be pent up from like a hard day of work or like long week, and I'd be like, I'm just gonna run 5 miles as fast as I can. You know what? Every once in a while, okay, sure, call it a tempo workout. But yeah, your training should be intentional. It shouldn't just be going out and just like running however fast you feel that day. But I did the same thing, so it's good to know that like we were lost runners, and now hey, I mean, you're an incredible runner too, and it takes time to build this base up, but once you do, it's really fun. Yeah,
I think that's what Zone 2 really does the best. Is it allows you to put on a lot of miles, which is you're probably getting more like muscular and like joint benefits, I guess. Like just building up all that connective tissue and everything, and then building that muscular endurance. And then it's like your cardio really probably comes from the high intensity days, but because the intensity is so high, it doesn't really take that much to get a lot of gains. That's my kind of understanding experience with it.
Yes. I think that's generally the science around it. And your threshold, your lactate threshold, improves way more with your HIIT training than it does with your Zone 2.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you balance those now? Like what's your like typical training structure look like?
Yeah. I'm pinning that down right now. I'm working with a new coach, Ryan Geiger, and he's been phenomenal and a big endurance coach. We are focusing on easy days being easy, hard days being hard. It's looking like, for me, 2 days of Zone 2, a really intense HYROX specific workout day, which for like sleds has been treadmill ramps, pretty miserable. Like you're just going 4%, 6%, 10% up on that treadmill for like 30 or 40 minutes.
Oh, geez. How do you structure that workout? Is that like continuous?
Or
what's
yes,
that look like?
It was this treadmill ramp test. It was terrible, but I loved it. The treadmill workout was at the 2% incline, and then 6%, and then 10%. You do 2 minutes on each.
Okay.
I repeat that: 2, 6, 10, 2, 6, 10.
At the same speed?
Speed increases 0.5 miles per hour each round.
That kind of reminds me, have you ever done a VO2 max test?
I have not, but I'm going to do one in 2 weeks. I'm very excited.
Are you going to Helix?
I'm going to Human Knots.
Oh, is that here in Austin?
Up in the Grove, kind of near the Domain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shout out to Human Knots.
I haven't heard of them. Is that new?
They're very new. They're this very bougie boutique health and wellness center. They have some shockwave therapy as well as PMEF mats.
What is shockwave therapy?
They use, I'm not a doctor, but essentially they use shock waves, like very loud sound waves to help regenerate or like promote blood flow to different parts of your body.
Whoa.
So I put it
I've
on my
never
knee.
heard of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I had some patellar tendonitis and I've been trying it with shockwave therapy.
Well, they just like put like a speaker up to your knee or what?
Basically, yeah.
What?
Just rock out.
Dude, it works?
It hurts. It's like it's like a very sharp sounding
Interesting.
shock, but then you like don't work on it for like a day or two and let the blood flow back to it. And
how loud is it? Like, did you have to wear headphones or something?
It's just like a really loud clap, but it's all like it's like a beam of sound rather than like a large wave.
This sounds like some like alien kind of
like
woo-woo shit.
Yeah. Well, hey, I like to say that I'm one woo only. I'm definitely, you got to be open to these kind of things.
Right.
Think about like in 50 years, what we're going to know about health and science and the way particles interact and energy and all this stuff that like we can't quite explain right now, but we're going to be like, yeah, of course it was silly to have phones next to our head or Bluetooth next to our head or all these other things. And I mean, we can't say for certain that these things aren't necessarily possibly bad for our health. We don't know. I mean, do we know long-term effects of phones? They've only been out for 10, 20 years.
Dude, there's a 5G tower like a quarter mile from
here.
I
felt funny.
Dude, I literally run within 100 yards of it every day. It's right on my route. And every day I run by it, I'm like, is this thing just zapping my brain cells? Like, it can't be good, right?
No.
Like, it's sending out, I've Googled it. The people on Reddit said it's safe.
The trusty people of Reddit. Yeah.
But it seems like it wouldn't be good.
Yeah, there's been a lot of studies on like the 5G millimeter waves just being way more disruptive to cell production.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, should we be living this close to a tower? I mean, there's a house like right next to it. I'm like, that can't be good.
Yeah, no.
Interesting. Okay, so shockwave therapy. We took a tangent there. I gotta look more into that. It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I'm open-minded.
Absolutely.
If it works, like
my buddy works there, Ben, and he got me in the door, and I'm really excited to go there more often.
That's sick. Okay, we got really sidetracked. We were talking about your treadmill workout.
Yes. Okay. So, and we were talking about my general workout scheme. So I do, as I was talking about, you can do HYROX workouts without the equipment, right? A great sled push workout is this treadmill workout, 2%, 6%, 10%, 2 minutes each, increasing the speed 0.5 miles per hour every round, every time you finish that 10. So
that sounds gnarly.
Yeah. And it's just like, see how many levels you can get to. And I almost finished 6. I was having a rough day, but I think that if I got back to it, I could probably finish 6 and get into 7.
Dang.
So
how fast were you going?
You start at 6 miles per hour.
Dude, that's pretty fast
to
be going at that incline.
Yeah. 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5.
And then it's 2 minutes at each one?
And then I was at 8, and then 8.5 is when I couldn't finish it.
And you do 2 minutes at each?
Yeah.
Dude. So how long were you on the treadmill for?
36 minutes.
Dang.
Just under.
That sounds gnarly.
Yeah.
Dude. The reason I asked about the...
Give it a rip.
Okay, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, you have to really like want to get after it or do it with some buddies or something.
Yeah.
Plus, finding treadmills is harder than finding assault runners these days.
That's true. I have one here. I have no excuses.
Okay. No excuses.
Damn. Okay. Maybe I'll do that today.
Hey, next time I do it, I'll hit you up and maybe we can do it together. And it's a lot more motivational when you're seeing someone suffer next to you.
Dude, maybe I'll do it this afternoon. I was going to do a strength workout. Maybe I'll just do that.
Okay.
Because I don't have a sled here.
Yeah, just be ready to hobble around tomorrow.
Okay, good. I'm running a half on Sunday, so that'll be perfect.
Yeah, you've had a crazy schedule.
It's been too much.
Yeah.
Too much. Dude, my legs are zapped still from the Grand Canyon last weekend. But
yeah, that looked phenomenal.
Yeah, it was fun.
I cracked up at your 50 wall balls with the rock.
Dude,
yeah. I was going to suggest, do we need to do 50 wall balls after this podcast?
We might have to. I haven't done them yet today.
Okay. Yeah, got to get them done.
Okay.
That's something else I want to mention, and I told you this at On It. I did 100 wall balls 5 days a week leading up to my Houston race, being like, oh, those are my weak spot. I need to focus on them. I need to dig in after my workout. Just like in HYROX, it's the end of the workout. Don't know if that's a great idea. Really strained my hip flexors a lot. Like having a weighted squat like that 5 days a week is really tough on your hip. My PT was like, what the hell are you doing? So risk reward here, maybe just focus on like some heavy front squats or some practice with thrusters and kettlebells 2 or 3 days a week, but you do not need to do wall balls 5 days a week.
I think it's that's a good point. I feel like for me, maybe it's more of a mental thing.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like 50 wall balls takes like 2 or 3 minutes. It's pretty fast. It's not that difficult.
Yeah.
But I think it's maybe a mental thing to just build confidence, because I've always been so bad at squatting. It just always, for whatever reason, felt really uncomfortable. And so like doing it 100 times on race day is like, God, that's a lot of squats.
Yeah.
So just building up the confidence. But
you only have to do it once on race day.
That's
and
true.
You've got everyone in the arena is like in the bleachers is looking over you and cheering you on. So it is a soul sucking part of the race. Like it is really tough, but I think that's what brings the magic to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that traditional endurance athletes are really going to like about this. I'm excited for you to feel it, because it is just a sensation and you're just so happy to get over that finish line at that point. And you're redlining there at that point. So It's something that you're taught not to do in endurance sports, right? Like you need to stay under your threshold to make it through the full marathon or the half marathon.
I mean, it's like mile 25, 26 of
that's
the marathon.
that's when you can put your foot on the gas.
Yeah.
Or maybe not 25, depending on your level, but
right.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Very excited. So what's like okay, so typical week of training, couple of days of zone 2. You said 2 HYROX workouts a week?
Yeah, usually 2 HYROX workouts a week, and then 1 long one, usually on the weekends, on Saturday or
like
Sunday.
A long HYROX specific workout?
Yes.
Okay, how many miles a week do you run?
Right now, I'm at about 30 to 40.
Okay.
I'm a big proponent of more cardio work on machines and less on your feet, on your ankles, on your knees. Running is definitely important, and you need to, and everyone has different fitness needs. But for me, like I'd rather save my knees a little bit and row for 30 minutes. Well, I hate rowing, but like for my body and for my overall health, ski, row, bike, do that 5 minutes on each, rotate, do it for 5 rounds, 45 minutes total.
Do you do a lot of zone 2 on the machines like that?
Absolutely.
So like ski, row, bike?
Yeah. And also acclimating your body to those positions, right? Yeah. Getting comfortable, moving your torso on the rower, moving your body in the ski position, right? Because you're kind of collapsing your lungs a little bit when you bend over.
Yeah.
So getting more familiar with that.
Yeah, the ski is really challenging. That's probably my worst one, because the breathing. I just haven't figured out the breathing.
Yeah.
My technique probably still needs a little bit of work.
Yeah.
But it's like anything else. The more time you spend doing it, the better you're going to get.
Absolutely.
Do you think there's like, I get this question a lot. Do you think there's like one right way to run or to ski or to row, like any, like from a form standpoint?
Definitely. Well, take that back. Depends on your body type, depends on your strengths, but I see a lot of videos on Instagram. This is the right way to ski. This is the wrong way to ski. It definitely depends on the distance that you're doing. And most of those videos focus on like a shorter distance, like a 500K or 500 meter, 200 meter. If you're going for efficiency over a full 1K, you might have a different strategy. You might not bend. You want a longer stroke, I think, to maximize the spin on that wheel per stroke. So you're not going, 50 or 60 strokes per minute. If
you could only pick one of the HYROX workouts to do, or one station, which one would you pick?
What do you mean? Just one 8 times?
Yeah, if you could only ever do one for the rest of your life, which one would you do? Whether it's because you like it or because it's maybe the most functional or the best for your overall fitness. Like, you could only pick one.
Ooh, it will definitely not be the row. That's my least favorite. It just feels like a black hole to me.
That's probably my favorite one.
Yeah. That's really where you should recover. That's the 5th out of the 8 for people that don't know. And it's kind of like the point of the race where you're like, you're either going to go now or you're going to kind of suffer and sit here. I love the ski. It's really exciting. Everyone's next to each other. Energy is high. But really the sled push for sure would be my choice.
Sled push. What's the weight for the pro? It's like
444 pounds.
Yeah. That's heavy.
Yeah.
That's very heavy. And I've come to learn the sleds, so much of it is dependent upon whatever surface you're pushing on. Like we were pushing I've been used to pushing the sleds on it, but we were at Squatch and it was like nothing.
Yeah.
We were on like the side turf or something. And it was like, it felt like butter.
It depends on the turf. I've been talking to Center, who's the official equipment supplier of HYROX, and they are working on getting a standardized turf available for gyms to buy, for people to buy, and just getting it at every HYROX race so you know exactly what you're getting. And there's no kind of dispute.
That'd be
because
cool.
it's a huge change, right? Like it's like plates difference compared to the actual race. But if in doubt, train heavier.
Yeah.
Throw that weight on there. Get used to it.
Do you train heavier? Because obviously for me, I'm training like the pro weights, even though I'm doing the open.
Yeah.
So are you training even heavier than the pro, I'm guessing?
I do not. Right now I'm focusing on efficiency and turnover, and there's more for me to gain between the stations and with my running efficiency than necessarily with the strength, right? I could train that and get 5 or 10 seconds faster on the sled push, but I'd rather get 30 or 40 seconds faster on my transitions and the runs in between.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
How do you structure like a HYROX workout? So like we're talking about the intensity piece.
Yeah.
And I think in that podcast they mentioned, she was like, either do like 30 seconds as hard as you possibly can, or like 1 to 4 minutes, basically as hard as you can.
Exactly.
How do you go about structuring those?
Yeah, well, it depends on the equipment you have and the people you're in the class. But if you're walking into the gym and you're like, I want to do HYROX workouts, I would think about maybe 2 or 3 modalities that you want to improve. Maybe you want to improve your burpees and your running and kind of put those into session, and maybe practice the burpees right after the run like you would in the race, and set something up where you have some rest in between. I really like the not EMOMs, but E6 mom, E5 mom, so that you have a set amount of rest each time. Or if you don't quite know exactly how long it's going to take you, to say, hey, I'm going to take 2 minutes of rest between each of these sets, and bring your heart rate back down, kind of stabilize yourself so that you can train at a high intensity. Because on race day, your heart's going to be going like it's going to be full throttle, people yelling and screaming. So I'd say build some rest in, and work at a high intensity rather than like only doing these long sims that are like 30 or 40 minutes long. Some of these HYROX workouts on the Instagram page are like 40-minute AMRAP. And I'm like, that sounds miserable. And like, it's just going to grind you to a core. Like we were saying before, like it's like going into a class and just doing something kind of 60% for 40 minutes. I'd rather you go at like 80%, on for 6, off for 2, on for 6, off for 2.
So how do you ever do like those 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, or how do you know the ratio you should follow for like rest to work?
I don't know it exactly. Stacy was saying, I think at least 1 to 1, if not slightly more rest. But at On It, we love to just rip 30-second on, 30-second off for 5 rounds at least.
Yeah, I think we did that one we did last Sunday was great.
Yeah.
Or it was 2 Sundays ago.
Yeah.
I think it was like the way you had to structure it was really cool. It was like you would do 2 minutes of ski, but the first 30 seconds were like your easy kind of ski pace. And then you do like a minute 30 hard.
Yep.
And you'd go straight into a run. But the first 30 seconds of the run was easy.
Yeah. And
then the last 130 was hard. And I think that's one of my favorite workouts I've done that probably best simulated a race day.
Yes.
Because you have no rest. You're constantly going, but you're teaching yourself to just get going, but you don't have to go as hard as you can. So you give yourself like that 30-second buffer.
Yeah.
To still be moving, but not at full out effort.
Yeah. To clarify, so that was no rest. You're going between run 2 minutes, bike 2 minutes, run 2 minutes, bike 2 minutes. And I fully agree. I think it's great to train that because you'll get to the rock zone, which is really where people lose a lot of time on their race. And they'll be walking into the rock zone. I'm like, what if you had just jogged the last little bit of your run so that you can jog right up to your station? If you're standing in your HYROX race, you're just burning so much time. Like it would have been better for you to just walk or jog the last little bit of your run. Yeah. So trying to smooth out those peaks and valleys in your race are going to help you, especially your central nervous system, where you're getting shocked left and right with lunges and with rowing and with burpees, and kind of help you stabilize through the whole race.
Yeah, that's a good question for like pacing the race. How do you go about that? Because like, do you think it should be kind of more of a consistent? Obviously, it's probably exponentially, or probably exponentially get harder and harder throughout the race. But like, do you do any like dedicated rest periods where you're like, okay, I'm gonna rest here for 30 seconds and then get back to it, or you're just kind of constantly moving?
For me, I'm constantly moving, and I talked to my coach yesterday, and that might not be the best strategy. It might be better for me to build up into it and have my first 4 run splits a little bit slower so that I can build momentum and speed going forward. Do not look at your heart rate for that, because your heart rate's going to be high pretty much the whole race. Like after that first ski, it's going to be 170 or above for the whole thing. But in terms of effort and aerobic capacity, Yeah, it depends on what kind of background you come from, how much you know about redlining and your body. I come from 6 or 7 years of CrossFit experience, so I know from these workouts like when I'm getting too close to the edge and you have to kind of pull back a little bit. And I passed that ledge actually in my World Championship race in France, because it was really hot in there. It was like 87 degrees. It felt like inside that. We were sweating our butt off in the training in the warm up area. Like, man, this is going to be a tough race.
Oh, yikes.
But excuses aside, like it's if you dance too close to the sun or fly too close to the sun, then you're gonna not be able to recover.
Yeah, it's a very fine line that you don't want to cross. Yeah. Okay, so for these types of workouts, like I'm guessing they're not specific to just HYROX. Do you think that there's benefits to doing these if you're just a runner, or if you're just a lifter, or if you're just like a regular person, not necessarily training for something?
Absolutely. Totally. And I love that you asked this, because I'm recruiting more and more of my running friends over to it just to like try something different, to build some strength. If you feel like you're plateauing your running, maybe build some strength in some different areas. And I mean, there's a lot. It's not just running form, but like stride length and biomechanics of how you lift your knee when you're running, right? And in your kickback and everything. But I run with Bat City Track Club a little bit, and I've loved pulling some of those guys who are elite runners, absolutely elite runners, into HYROX workouts and then get their butt kicked. And it's fun for me to do that, because it's like, yeah, you guys kick my ass on the track, but I get to kick your ass in the gym.
Those guys are so fast.
They're insanely fast.
We were doing a workout next to them last week, and we were ripping like sub 6 minute miles.
Yeah.
And they were flying by us doing like 450s.
Yep.
I'm like, what?
Those guys are incredible.
But it's a good point that like the HYROX engine is so different.
Absolutely.
Than just the running engine.
Yeah.
Even though it's cardio mostly, it's totally different.
Well, it's really a CrossFit type engine, right? It's like changing modalities and how used to that your body is. So it's probably why you love that bike run workout. I guess it would be like some of these Orange Theory classes or other, I mean, I teach Equinox classes as well, like where you're changing from dumbbells to body weights to abs to jumping jacks, but to a higher intensity.
Yeah, I've never really have to think about breathing when I'm running. How often do you think about breathing when you're doing HYROX?
A lot. I mean, I listen to Huberman, Daddy Huberman, and
dude, do you have some beef with him or something?
I do. We'll get to that. Don't we all?
It's so funny.
And he talks about, as well as many other sports scientists, nasal breathing, and you get way more VO2 when you nasal breathe. So I really try to remind myself to at least take a few breaths. It also helps calm you through your nose as you're like starting the run or something, or you're like getting a little stressed about a position or something.
So you don't nasal breathe the whole time?
No.
I don't think you could, probably.
No, I mean, unless you've really trained and practiced that, it's going to be very difficult to do that.
So do you do like a certain pattern or anything?
No. I'm trying to get more into it. I'm trying to, just remind myself, and that'd be a good idea though. Maybe I start to practice more of that, even like when you enter the arch or leave the arch. That's when you start or stop your run. Or, right. I mean, on the row, I try to use that to like calm myself down and like recenter. And breathing through your nose is a great way to do that.
Yeah, breathing is something I never had to think about until I started doing HYROX. Yeah. I have to like consciously remind myself to just breathe, because it's like you said in like the ski or like the wall balls, you're more like hunched over, and it just like forget sometimes. I think like as weird as that sounds. Dude, this is great stuff. I want to talk about like the hormone side of things. Yeah. Do you ever get blood work done? I do. How often?
Not enough. I actually am very close to posting about the supplements that I take and some of the blood work I've done. And Get Manly, one of the new and up and coming blood work companies, I'm one of their sponsored athletes, and seeing how the blood work on their test kits compares to my mom, who's a holistic nurse practitioner, and like her official blood sampling and testing, and how the metrics are different and everything. But yeah, I think it's helpful if you're training at a high level. Have you noticed any differences? Like if you're open to talking about it, I know it's a personal thing, but have you noticed any differences like within your blood work on depending on what you're training for, or like with the style of training that you're doing at the time? In the results? Yeah. I haven't looked at that level of specificity. but I can get back to you.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting. Like if you were like when you're doing endurance, like for triathlon stuff, and maybe more vegan diet, like what your blood work would look like back then,
Yeah.
versus now, like this more balanced diet and more balanced training. I just would be really curious.
Yeah.
What that would look like.
I think just initially thinking about this for the first time, higher iron levels, probably ferritin or iron, right, from red meats, which is one supplement that I do take that is proven to help endurance athletes. Caffeine is proven time and time again, but iron as well.
Okay, say that again. You said caffeine's proven for what?
Caffeine is a proven stimulant to help with endurance.
Oh, right.
Race,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
We won't talk about ketones, but
Do you use ketones?
No. No.
Some ketones work.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it? Are we going to talk about this? It's
Maybe.
if it's over 90 minutes, right? Like if it's a long endurance workout, that's when your body is no longer using glucose and glycogen to fuel.
Pretty much.
I don't want a ton of sports science. I mean, I don't know this.
I mean, at some point you're always burning, unless we're just sitting here, we're probably close to 100% fat burn. But if you're moving, you're burning like at least 5-10% glucose. And then that ratio will slowly increase to from fat to glucose.
Yeah.
So it mostly depends on your effort level.
Yeah.
Like during a marathon, you're probably like 60 to 70% glucose burn. So that's, 3 hours roughly. Let's not talk about ketones.
Maybe take that out. But I would say if you do keep it in, we need to not buy into rocket fuel type guerrilla marketing.
Yeah.
You really look at the studies and listen to actual doctors, not even me.
Dude, I mean, I know just from following you and like talking to you, like you're anti like bullshit, which is good, obviously. But I feel like a lot of people are not. And they just like, they buy the marketing. They're like, oh my God, this ketone's going to make me run 10 minutes faster in the marathon. Like I have to buy it.
Yeah.
Without actually looking into it whatsoever.
People will look for any shortcut.
Yeah.
Anything except hard work.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. So speaking of supplements, all this stuff, anti-bullshit, like what does your regimen look like then? Supplements, nutrition, that kind of thing.
I'd say the most important thing is consistency and sleep. In my regimen and anyone else's regimen, if you can nail those, and nutrition, but if you can nail those 2 or 3 things, your performance is going to be head and shoulders above the rest, or above your former performance, which is really what we should be looking at, not other people, but you compared to you yesterday. The sleep is so important. Putting the phone away at night. I mean, these are like the hard things. They're the things you don't want to hear. You want to just buy something online and be like, oh, this is going to help me get 10 seconds faster. But being consistent. Yeah.
How do you prioritize sleep, or do you have like a specific sleep routine or anything?
Oh man, no, I'm working on it. I'm trying my best, but putting my phone in another room, really scheduling those focus times on your phone. If you're not doing that already, you can do that really easily. You can even change your home screen to be different. It's going to hide all the red badge icons. So it's going to look like I have 0 texts, 0 calls, 0 anything. So you're just less inclined. You can make it black and white too. So you can turn your phone black and white at 9 p.m. and it's way less interesting to pick it up and look at it.
This is on iPhone, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
I think the phone is probably one of the biggest culprits.
Oh, for sure.
Of preventing sleep.
Yeah.
Or just bad quality sleep.
Yeah.
How many hours a night do you sleep?
Averaging 7 hours, 45 minutes, I think.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you notice if you get less than that? Like
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm actually trying not to let it get in my head too much, because sometimes you can wake up in REM and you when you oversleep too much and you feel actually more tired.
Yeah.
Or you undersleep. Sometimes based on when you wake up in your cycle, you can feel a lot better. So I look at my watch every morning when I sit on the toilet and I evaluate my day going forward, but I don't let it get to me too much, right? Like you can't live your life by your watch. You have to live by how you feel and what you have in front of you. Yeah. Same with running, right? As you know, you can't, sometimes if you feel good, you can let it rip. If you don't feel good, do not push it.
Yeah, those are great points. I think sometimes we're like a slave to the devices.
Oh, yes.
And we
remember when we ran before Strava?
No.
See, that's...
Actually, I really didn't run it all before Strava. I kind of wish I would have.
Man, yeah, we're from different generations then. I don't know what to say. But it's really, I think I highly encourage you, at least once a quarter, go run without any devices.
That sounds
and
scary.
Just go by feel, and you can even just do a simple stopwatch once.
Yeah.
And then you can figure out your mileage later. Do a run that you always know the exact mileage on it. But if you really need to know your splits.
Yeah.
But like, just run for the joy of it.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I thought about doing that.
It's like going for a hike and not taking your phone, right? Like,
Right.
disconnect, y'all.
Just enjoying, just being the present.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like that a lot. Dude, I felt the sleep thing a lot this week. Usually I'm great on sleep, but when we're in the Grand Canyon, shitty sleep. We were with like 8 other dudes. I think one night I had like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I've never been so sore for so long after any kind of event.
Absolutely.
It wrecked me. Like it's been 6 days and my legs are still sore.
Yeah.
And I know 100% because it's the lack
recovery.
of sleep.
Fully believe it.
Shows how important it is.
I know these ultra races are super popular now, and I love the ones. I've done the ones with not Moab Run the Rocks. The name of the company is the Trans Rockies Running Company. I did one in Colorado and one in Utah, but they let you sleep in a hotel instead of like you're not camping, you're not doing all like respect to y'all and the ultra runners, but like it's so much nicer to like run and then sleep in a bed and then you can run again the next day. It's like a multi-day stage race.
Would you ever do, well, first off, how long are those races? Like how many days?
All depends on the course. The Utah one was like 9 miles the first day, 24 the second, and like 9 the third. But they're fun. The Colorado one was 200 miles over 6 days.
Whoa.
I only did 3 of the days.
Dang, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's cool. Those stage races seem pretty fun.
Yeah, and there's some great camaraderie. It's like adult summer camp is what they call it. So
yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
You've done 2 of those?
I've done 2, yeah.
Yeah, that's more appealing to me, I think, than like Moab 240.
Yeah.
Where you're like sleeping on rocks for 4 days.
Yeah, I don't know about that. And having rabbits talk to you because you're going delusional. I don't know if I want that.
That can't be good for you.
I just think that we are so obsessed with mileage, especially in the age of Strava, that it doesn't necessarily have to be 40, 50, 60 miles per week. There are other ways, especially when you hit your 30s, where you can preserve your knees, preserve your ankles, and still get that cardio fitness on a rowing machine or on a bike or in a gym environment doing like a long and slow like workout without tearing up your body, especially your legs.
Yeah.
Whether it's in those stage races or whatnot. And granted, those things are fun. Yeah, like I like doing them too, but everything in moderation, everything in balance. And yeah, doing, what is it? Like, when you hit mile 20 in a marathon, you're like, I probably shouldn't be running like that. And there's a reason why in like marathon training, like you don't run more than like 22 miles on your long run because you're like, it's really diminishing returns after 20. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's those things you should do occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be doing that all the time, I don't think.
Builds mental grit.
Yeah.
It builds confidence, but yeah, for your body, like you don't need to be doing that. Although humans are persistence hunters. We're great long distance runners. We're the best in the animal kingdom.
This is true.
Yeah.
That's why I think hybrid training and like your style is so great because
It's the best.
it's the best for longevity, right? But would you want to train like that all the time? Like
No,
the way you do right now?
No, I'm actually thinking about like, next season, I don't want to do this. I want to kind of take a step back. It's tough to do this full throttle, like almost semi-pro where you're like, all right, how do I get faster? And like, you need to really dial things in and like almost kind of quit your corporate job and go full time. No, there's things you can adjust, your sleep, like the intentionality of your workouts, your nutrition. But I don't think you should be doing the same thing every year after year, unless you're a professional athlete.
Yeah.
Which is why I switched from running, or from CrossFit for 6 years to trying out half Ironmans and loving triathlon sports, and then trying out HYROX.
So would you say longevity then is your biggest priority?
It's getting to be now. Yeah. I turned 30 and my knee started hurting randomly. Actually, after I stopped running 50, 60 mile weeks.
Oh, interesting.
Which they say tendonitis, right? It flames more because you're not moving your body as much, right? You're getting less blood flow there. Or so they say.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I would say just balance things out. Like your body knows, your body's telling you what to do. And like if your knees hurt, your ankles hurt, there's other ways to work out that don't have to keep pounding on them.
Yeah. So how would you, say you take a break from HYROX hybrid goose lifestyle. How would you train, you think?
I'm excited to just do like a basic gym bro strength session, almost like a bodybuilding type thing where I go more for strength and see how much power I can generate, and maybe even more athletic movements, and like generate, like doing box jumps and stuff, and doing like hurdles and sprint drills and things like that, where I'm building more of my maximal strength, which I don't normally tap into in HYROX because you're trying to go medium and steady.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've noticed since I started training HYROX specifically, like my overall strength has gone down.
Yeah.
That the HYROX specific engine has gotten a lot bigger, but the overall strength has definitely gone down, like in my compound movements.
Yeah. Yeah. You're sacrificing some of that, right, for your cardio and for the hybrid
Right.
fitness profile here, but you're not losing all of your muscle. Like you're
Yeah.
still able to, like, I guarantee you, if you pick up a barbell and like start doing it again in like 2 or 3 weeks, you'll be back to where you are. There's a term for it, actually. Like, you can return, I wish I knew it off the top of my head. You can return to your previous strength super quickly, right? Like, it's the ceiling that you set is very easy to return to. But going past that ceiling requires a lot of discipline work. So you have to really focus on that.
It's probably due to your nervous system, I would imagine.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like waking up those fibers and those nerves again.
Yep. And recruiting more of those, called neuromuscular efficiency, right? Like thinking about the muscles that you're using and like actually recruiting more that don't normally move when you tell your muscle to move.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Dude, this is good stuff. What was it like running a 2:46 marathon?
Oh man, it was exhilarating. It was freaking awesome.
That's fast.
Yeah. It is. I mean, the magic of marathons, that was a marathon year. A lot of my friends did marathons and leading up to that one, and it just felt magical. I love marathon training because it's such a science, but then also there's like that extra element of like magic at the end where you know exactly your pacing for this distance, and you know exactly your pacing for this distance in this workout. And you can calculate your threshold pace, and like, you know, just above that you're burning too hot, just below that you're burning too hot, just above that you have some gas in the tank.
Yeah.
And you constantly fool yourself in some of these workouts when you're pushing yourself hard. And when I'm running with Bat City, I'm like, damn, I can't go any faster. And then you do, and then you're like, oh wow, I'm a little bit faster. And then you add a taper to that, where your body suddenly has all this time to recover, and you're like, holy shit, I'm superhuman. Like, you can do way faster than you thought. And it's right. It's that balance, the science of, I know exactly I can do this, and oh shit, like, it's race day, it's game time, and you throw down and see what you can do. And I was super excited to run that race. It was in Eugene. It was like 56 degrees, perfect running weather, perfect conditions, fast air, as my buddy Mike Zacco says. And my heart rate was 159 the entire race.
For a 2:46 marathon?
Yeah.
You could have ran faster.
No, I couldn't. But heart rate, like when I trained my heart rate, like max was 161. It was up there for like a few seconds. Then it stayed at 159.
That's crazy.
The whole race.
Was your watch broken or something?
No, that shit was on tight.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah. That's also, I mean, training in Austin, it was that was in April. So it was still like 70 or 80 degrees, but then dropping down there, I was like, wow, I feel fast.
Do you think you could have ran faster on that day?
No, I gave it everything that I could on that day. Such a great race. Highly recommend it. Eugene has a special magic to it.
Yeah.
It's really cool ending in the track that all of the Olympics trials are held at. Not all of them, but most of them in the U.S.
Although World Championships are there too.
Yeah.
For track and field.
Yeah, it's a very famous track.
Yeah, dude, that's Eugene. That's where I qualified for Boston my first time.
Okay,
that's a sick race.
Yeah,
dude, I love that description of marathons. It's like, yeah, it's so true. I've never thought about it that way. That it's like part scientific and part magic, part unknown. Yeah, and it's like that element of the unknown that makes it so intriguing.
Nobody knows what their body's going to do at mile 20.
Yeah,
right. You can start shitting your brains out, pardon my friends, or you could start to feel amazing and be like, I'm on top of the world. Let's push the pace. And yeah, it's kind of the element you can't prepare for, and you got to just lean into it. And just like life, right? Like, you don't know what's going to happen today or tomorrow or in a week, but how you respond to that is really what characterizes you as an athlete and you as a person.
That was beautifully said. That was great.
Clip it.
Dude, I'm curious, you're like, obviously you're dialed in on training.
Locked in, baby.
Fucking, what's his name? Davis Clark. Locked in.
Pull it up. I want to run my Boston Marathon like he ran his Boston Marathon.
That video is so good. Just shit. Dude, the way he says it, I just shit my pants. It's so good.
It's great.
You're locked in
on
the physical side of things. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's only one side of the story for endurance sports.
Mm-hmm.
What's your approach to like the mental side of things? Do you have any mental tricks that you tell yourself, or like rituals or anything you do?
Ooh, during workouts?
During like a hard workout or on race day or race weekend, anything like that?
Know that your training prepared you for this. Know that whatever happens, no, hold on.
Dude, this is good. I like where that go. That was where that was going.
Know that whatever happens, is gonna happen, and like you're gonna get through it. And as I said before, like the adversity you face, like is part of the journey. Like the obstacle is the path. I love that quote. Whether in life or in fitness, right? Like, oh, here's a great one. Something always goes wrong in every race. There's no perfect race, and in the same way that like you don't always like. You should go like the motivational things, like you go train in the rain because your race day is never perfect. It's like, what if it rains on race day? Yeah, like don't expect perfect conditions. Don't expect a perfect race because then you're thrown off by like a little thing here or there. Like in my Dallas race, I got a really bad cramp, and I'm like, okay, like this is part of the race. Keep moving. In my Houston race, I was feeling exhausted. I had just run a 30-mile race the weekend before, and I was like, oh, my legs are heavy. I can't make it through these lunges at the same speed I want to. It's like, there's no perfect race. Like, just get through it. And, another great piece of advice would be just focus on where you are right now. And that's great in life, too. Like, what is the next best step? I'm sitting at work looking at my Outlook, being like, okay, great. Now what do I do? Or like, how do I respond to these emails or this meetings? Like, what is the next best step? Just do one thing and move on. And in the same approach with HYROX, if you focus on just the station you're at, don't think about what you have in 2 or 3 times, just where you're at right now. And you're set. Even wall balls, 100 wall balls, that's a lot to think about. Just think about 15, 15, 15, 10, 10, 10, 7, 7, 7 if you need. That's me at the end too. It will help you get through it. And then before you know it, you're at the end.
That's great. Yeah. I love that. I think, I guess to put a word on that would be like segmentation.
Yep.
I think it's like a Navy SEAL thing. I've heard them talk about, to get through like BUDS training and stuff is, it's just segmenting. I learned that through like ultra marathons.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to, it's too overwhelming.
Yeah.
If you don't chunk it up like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's a great answer. Do you have any like rituals that you do? Like a pre-race ritual, like a prayer, meditation, or like you got to put your left shoe on first or anything like that?
I like to practice gratitude a lot. I think that has so many benefits, no matter your religion, no matter your kind of beliefs. Like practicing gratitude is proven scientifically to like help you perform better and like have a more positive mindset, which also goes hand in hand. Visualize success. That's a huge one. Olympic athletes are always visualizing themselves doing their best performance, getting the gold medal. And when you do that, it helps your body recruit the muscle fibers that it needs to, like perform the way it needs to go to that outcome and not to a bad one. If you're thinking about messing up or failing, you're probably going to mess up or fail. So mindset's huge. I take beet supplements beforehand, which helps dilate the blood vessels and gets your VO2 up. So I take like a beet juice. Yeah.
I love that.
I also, for HYROX specifically, I try to keep my heart rate as low as possible. People love to get themselves hyped up. The bros.
Yeah.
I know plenty of them. And they're all getting like pumped up, amped up in the tunnel. I'm like, y'all, you can do that, but your heart rate's about to be at 179 for about an hour.
Yeah.
And plus. So maybe just cool it. Like you're going to be there. Like your first 1K run is a great warm up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's like being amped is not going to make you run that much faster in your first 500 meters.
Yeah, that goes away real quickly.
Yeah.
That's dude, I love the visualization. Have you ever read Psycho-Cybernetics?
No.
By Dr. Maxwell Maltz?
No.
It's from like the 50s. It's a great book. Kind of one of the first like sort of more scientific based self-help, like self-improvement type books.
Okay.
But he talks about a lot of studies in there where they took like 2 groups of basketball players and they had one group physically shoot free throws every day.
Yep.
And then they had one group just think about shooting free throws every day. And I'm pretty sure the group that just visualized shooting free throws performed like just as good as the people that physically shot them. It's like, and there's a million examples like that. There's a lot of studies they've done, but like our minds are so powerful. and it's so easy to psych ourselves out or use it for good and like visualize whatever it is you're trying to achieve.
Fully agree. And being kind to yourself,
Yeah.
which sounds like a cheesy, soft, even liberal idea of some sorts, like, oh yeah, your self-love and everything. Like, it actually is proven to help. And in the same vein, like the book Humankind is one of my favorites, and it talks a lot about kindness as something that helped Homo sapiens evolve, human sapiens. And they talked about, similarly, one group of kids that was like treated like honor students and perfect children and like praised, and one group of students that was just like dejected and kind of like treated lesser. And they were totally randomized, and the ones that were praised started getting better grades, or like significantly better, and performing better in sports and everything. So there's something to be said about like surrounding yourself with positive affirmations and positive friends and self-love. Of course, not disillusioning yourself. I think reality is very important to hold on to, but yeah,
That's
fully
good.
agree.
So I'm guessing you don't take like the Goggins approach of like calling yourself a bitch, that kind of thing.
No, I think that's usually toxic. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes, but like that's very usually toxic masculinity, and just very, I mean, Goggins is incredible, but he hurts every day. He's in some serious pain. Like, so, I mean, risk reward, right? And some people, I mean, even our friend Matt Johnson, like my man is like burning through his body, but he's doing some great things doing it. So, it's really what you value, and respect to you for whatever that is. But like, for me, it's longevity. I want to be able to hike when I'm 70 and like play with my grandkids and my dogs and yeah. So being not on my knees all the time, and like training in different ways, and cycling training. So maybe a year of strength, a year of HYROX, a year of endurance is really important to me.
I like that. I'm definitely in the same boat. I like that a lot. I think most people probably would be, because it's like, who doesn't want to be 80 years old?
Yeah.
Still, jogging a 5K or something.
Well, if you can post something on your Instagram and get 1,000 likes when you're 25, that might be more important.
For some people, it might be.
Not for me.
I love that, man. I love your just balanced approach to everything. It's very like logical, sensible.
Thank you.
And you're still just
gas me up, baby.
Still just a beast, man.
Positive affirmations. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. This is good stuff. Have you had any like? Actually, I want to ask you about nutrition, because we haven't really talked about nutrition much.
Okay.
Like your day-to-day nutrition.
Apple a day.
Do you really?
Just kidding.
One, I'd be curious like what supplements you take, if any, and then like what just like a day of eating would look like.
Yeah, supplements. I'm about to post about it again, so check out my Instagram if you want to see the video.
The Hybrid Goose.
The Hybrid Goose. Thank you. Multivitamin. I'm low on B12. My blood work told me that, so I take that. Cod liver oil. High quality is really important, because there's so many different levels of heavy metals and whatnot. So find a good brand there.
Which one do you use?
I use Nordic Naturals.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah. But I'm sure there's a ton of great ones. That's great for brain health and for muscle function and everything. I mean, omega-3s, omega-6s are wild.
Cod liver. I used to take fish oil. I don't anymore.
Yeah.
I probably should.
My mom used to make me take it straight, like the oil itself.
Oh.
We were like conditioned as kids, and now I just take the pills. But
Did you smell like fish all the time?
Oh my God, it was brutal. But I eat it before my breakfast.
I gotta eat on the fish oil.
Multi, B12, cod liver oil, vitamin D, so important. 5,000 IU, whatever that means. It's important. My mom said so. Holistic nurse practitioner. And I take glucosamine for my joints, so that helps.
What does that do?
Well, I give it to my dog too. It helps strengthen your tendons, supposedly.
Glucosamine. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
What about like collagen or?
Yeah, mix it into my smoothies every once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you take creatine?
I do. Yes. I think creatine is very important. It's now one of the most studied supplements as well, behind caffeine.
Yeah.
It helps with power output, and it's great. It's not going to make you bulky. It's going to put on a little bit of water weight. That's okay. Just drink a lot of water with it. It's not too hard on your kidneys, I promise. That's what I heard in college. And yeah, I take 5 grams a day, and I cycle off of it when I'm not training as hard. So like in the summertime, I just chill. So
yeah, nice. Okay, that's good to know. So not a ton of supplements, just like the kind of regular stuff.
Yeah.
And what about like daily nutrition? What's that look like?
Yeah, I try to, again, protein is super important, but I try to have a big breakfast. I like oats. I love my avocado toast. Seeds, super important, super caloric, high high calorie density. Also have a lot of omegas. So like walnuts, my mom used to have us like take a scoop of walnuts to school, and I'd be like, this is so random, but now I get it because they're phenomenal for you.
Mom sounds like a good lady.
Yeah. She's
watching
great.
out for you.
Yeah. Mama Manke.
That's awesome.
And what else? Lunch is different every day, but yeah, making sure you got protein in there, especially if you missed eggs on your avocado toast in the morning.
What were you eating today? You had like a pre-made, like a meal prep thing?
Yeah, that was just a chicken and rice pre-made thing. It was simple, but
nice.
Yeah, simple, consistent. Get lots of veggies in there. I don't know if I want to talk about amazing grass, amazing greens. I've like had mixed thoughts on those. I'm not taking them anymore.
It's like a greens powder or something?
Yeah, all the greens powders.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you can get the full vegetable with the fiber, get the full vegetable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't really eat vegetables. Do you think we need them?
So they have a lot of vitamins and a lot of nutrients that I think we need. But if you're getting those elsewhere in your diet, maybe you don't need them as much.
I mean, I'm not a dietitian or anything, nutritionist.
Well, I'm uncomfortable talking about it then. I'm just like, I eat my vegetables. I think veggies are important.
I think it's good.
I definitely feel
it's not a bad thing.
Serious brain frog, as I say, when I don't have veggies after like a long bachelor trip or something. You're like, just give me a salad, please.
Why do you call it brain frog?
Because when you have brain fog, you call it brain frog because you're just like, you can't speak.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Dang, so pretty simple stuff. Like nothing. You don't eat like a like T-bone steak every day or anything crazy.
I mean, the seed oils are evil. Fully agree. I mean, just try 2 weeks without them and see how much better you feel. If you don't like reading studies, then that's a great way to do it. But yeah, I really try to stick to avocado oil, coconut oil. Tallow would be great. I don't really have it around. I want to. Butter, ghee is great. For me, I realize I'm pretty salt. I sweat really salty, so I need to get more salt in my diet. I've been taking more and more electrolytes.
Have you done a sweat test?
No, but I should.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's just like good data to have.
I don't want to break it though.
Yeah.
Sweaty boy.
Yeah. It's like you'd break the machine because you're too sweaty, too salty.
Bad jokes.
That went over my head for a second. I was like, break a sweat or what do you mean?
Break a sweat. Break a sweat.
Yeah, just get data. And the cool thing with a sweat test is like you do one of them and it's essentially the same for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Yeah. Like your diet, none of that really matters. It might fluctuate like a tiny bit, like 1%, but it's pretty much always the same.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be helpful. I mean, I think electrolytes are a huge booming business, right? Switchback. Yeah. I tried. I really liked the taste of it. Was great.
Nice.
So
shameless plug.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm here to help.
That's awesome.
Support bros supporting bros. But
what about you said you had a sweet tooth?
Oh, absolutely.
What does that look like?
Oh man.
I know you said you give yourself a rule. Like if you buy it, you get a couple of days and that's it.
Yeah. I try to do like, all right, my grocery run, like this is my only time to buy sweets for the whole week. So maybe 1, maybe 2 items and just stick to just those. And if you eat them all on Monday, then you're shit out of luck for the rest of the week.
What's your go-to?
Oh man, I love ice cream.
Oh yeah, dude. Ice cream's the best.
The Mokies, I really like to get the things in individual packages or smaller because then you can like see incrementally.
Right.
Okay, like I'm eating 1 Moki, 2 Mokis, 3 Mokis, like instead of a whole carton of ice cream where you're just like, there's the limit does not exist.
Yeah. So ice cream's the go-to?
Yes.
Dude, I don't think.
And like the salty chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
The brown butter cookies from Whole Foods are insane.
How often would you eat that stuff? Like once a week, basically? Just have like a little serving of it?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing for me. Like like it's hard to control. Like we seek pleasure and it's really tough. When I have a race on the calendar, it is way easier for me to be like, no, I need to not eat that. This is for my race. Or you're getting over a breakup, or you're really focused on a goal or a wedding or whatever toxic or not toxic goal you have. It helps so much, right? Like how do you put your phone down at the end of the night? Like you just want to just chill and relax. Like how do you get it down and get to bed early? Like I have to remind myself like, yeah, I've got a race coming up. Like, and this is the race. Like the training is the race, not the race itself. As you know, from like ultra and marathon training, you got to treat it like that. And the actual event is just a ceremony of sorts.
Yeah.
So If you treat it like that and you get really serious about something, your priorities shift, and that's when you can make those actionable no's to those brown butter cookies that are so delicious.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. I always say the race is the cherry on top.
Yeah.
The training is really where you grow and learn about yourself, and you like develop the fitness, obviously, and the race is just like
And the habits.
where you get to show it off, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. Which I have a love-hate relationship. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. I have a love-hate relationship with racing because because the races don't really mean anything. It's exactly like what I just said. It's just a time to show off what you've been working on.
Yeah.
But like, I have a hard time putting in the training and the work if I'm not signed up for something.
Yeah.
Do you have that same issue? Or like, even if you're not signed up for anything, like, would you still go into the gym and work out just as hard?
No, but that makes me think about my Strava comment earlier. When's the last time you did something just for the fun of it?
Yeah.
Probably. And you go dark.
Yeah.
Right. And then you start to think about, all right, what do I actually enjoy doing instead of just like being perceived that I enjoy doing or things that I'm good at. And I think we live in a culture where we see so many experts and so many people that are good at things on social media that we're afraid to start because we're not good enough at them. And that's tough. Like, it'd be really intimidating me for like, I've always kind of wanted to be photography, but there's amazing photographers out there. And like, oh, I've always kind of wanted to play the guitar, but like, where do you even start? And you don't even have to like be good at it. Like, you can have hobbies that you're not good at. And I think that's so important to have. Like, I like to paint because there's no winning at painting. Like, you just do what's on the canvas. Like, sure, it might look better or worse in your opinion, but like a lot of painting is abstract and just like an expression of how you're feeling that day. So yeah, I would say, did that answer the question?
100%. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that Japanese concept. I think it's
Ikigai?
called is that where you like pick a goal but you don't tell anybody about it? Is that what it is? Or maybe it's the Masogi.
Oh,
I think where you like pick a goal, it's kind of a secret thing that only you know about, or like a couple close friends, but you don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of secretly working on this in the background. And it's purely not for the like attention or glamour, just because you solely like you purely want to do it.
Yeah.
Kind of that same kind of concept, I guess.
That sounds like something the Japanese would do.
Yeah. What's Ikigai? I've
heard of
that.
Ikigai is the intersection of things you love to do, things you're good at. Oh no, I don't know the last two.
Oh, I've heard of this. I saw like a reel about it one time.
Jamie, look it up.
I know, where's Jamie at? I should have Bree. I'll hire Bree to do this.
Get Bree in here.
Just sits over there. Ikigai.
Japanese secret.
Dude, the Japanese have it all figured out.
To living a long, happy, purpose-filled life.
I wish I was Japanese.
Your values, your passions, your gifts, and the possibilities.
Values, passions, and gifts. So what you value, what you're good at, and what you like doing. Is that right? I like that.
What you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at.
Ooh.
Important to know what you're good at and what you love might not be the same thing. But if you Google image it, it's a great way to kind of see the 4-circle Venn diagram.
Maybe I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
So great. It's I was actually just talking to an old manager that left my company on the drive up here about it, because I was looking at like what my next career shift looks like and kind of balancing that out. And maybe this is a great topic for this conversation, because a lot of people ask me like, oh, I didn't know you had a corporate job, and like, why don't you do fitness full time and this and that? And I've told you a little bit. I don't want to do fitness full time because I think it creates this dependency, and it takes some of like the authenticity out of it, where I need clients to come to me to like pay my rent. And instead, I have a corporate job, I have a stable base, and I also love helping people on the side to do races that I think they could never do. And I don't need you to come to the boot camp, but I would love if you did. And it keeps things kind of more natural and free flowing instead of needy.
Yeah.
But as that relates to Ikigai, those don't intersect, right? Like something that pays my rent and something that, at least for now, like is a passion of mine, helping people race HYROX, don't intersect. And maybe they could, maybe I need to take that leap of faith into it and build the business. But for now, I kind of like a job that enables me to do that in the evenings and do corporate stuff in the morning.
That's great. I like that. I heard this quote. It was like a TED talk or something. And it said, work is you do your best work when you don't need the money.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it only for the love of it, only for the passion of it.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have to go train people. You don't have to coach people.
Do it for the love of the game.
You have a job that pays you.
Yeah.
But you're doing it solely because you like it.
Yeah.
That's
sure.
great.
And sure, extra cash is nice on the side.
Right.
And kind of building a business. I'm exploring that. And yeah, you gotta love what you're doing outside of work or in work. One of the two places, ideally both. But if not, then what are you doing?
Yeah. It's easy to get burnt out with something.
Yeah.
It's especially when you rely on it for income.
Yeah.
Because then you start doing shit you don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Dude, you're just so well thought out about everything. You're so methodical.
I try to be intentional, like my training. Yeah.
I love that, man. Tell me, before we leave.
Before we move on,
Yeah.
did we hit every point on we went to Ikigai from something else. It was, can you train as hard if you don't have something on the calendar?
Yeah.
I guess I answered that, but as methodical as I am here, like, I think having something on the calendar helps the majority of people to train for things. And I hear people say, you just got to sign up for the race and like the rest will fall into place. Like, oh, I'm too busy. There's never going to be a good time if you're a busy person, and you have to just shift priorities around and demote some things, promote others. And it doesn't mean you have to like stop doing your current routine, but you got to shift things around.
100%.
And I think for most people that are not super into fitness, but are trying to like take more steps forward, hey, you just got to like put it on your work calendar, or like put sticky notes on the wall and like do a check mark next to it every time, or something like that. Journal about it. See how it makes you feel after each one. It could make you start adding days, stacking bricks, baby.
Yeah, dude. We all have the same 24 hours.
Yeah.
You just have to prioritize it.
Yeah, but Oprah's 24 hours is a little different than ours because she's got a lot of personal assistants.
That's true. But
no, I love the expression. It's true. It's how you spend your time.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? The damn screens.
Yeah, dude, the phones, especially, dude, I feel like it's bad lately.
Oh yeah.
For myself, everybody.
Well, election season, I think,
That's
leads
true.
to like general anxiety and like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Have you seen that clip from, I think it's Ed Milet, where he's talking about how it's so funny. He's like, everybody has 24 hours, but I've developed my day. So I actually have more. Where he's like, I wake up from 4 and I do this until 7. And then my second day actually starts at 9 a.m.
Oh,
so I have like 2 days in one day. I'm like, dude, it's like the problem with the social media as a whole.
So we're going to talk about the Huberman,
That
guys.
was my next question.
Human optimization freaks on Instagram and everywhere else.
Yeah.
And I love that there's also a second following of people that just make fun of them and highlight how insane it is. There is some value in it, right? Like, sure, there are some marginal benefits, but I want you to think about, is taking an ice bath for you, if you're running 20 or 30 miles a week, going to make a big difference? Probably not.
No.
Will it? I mean, I took a training on it, and yeah, there's tons of benefits for your nervous system, for your sleep. If you do it in the evening, it helps you lower your internal core body temperature, helps your joints a ton, definitely. But like, it's not, people are acting like it's going to like lower their time by 2 or 3 minutes on the marathon. I'm like, no, it's going to help your joints a little bit if you're running 40, 50 miles a week, 30, I don't know. But yeah, it's the consistent things, the nutrition, the sleep, the regular training, that's going to make a difference.
It's the boring stuff.
Yeah. It's the stuff that's free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't tell the brands that.
I know. Sorry. This is why you have brands and I don't.
Well, I try to only work with brands that are not like that.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole lot of them that are like.
Well, there's a whole awakening, I think, too.
Yeah.
Like, now that everybody has a brand, like there's so many influencers on so many products, we're all kind of numb to it.
Yeah.
And putting a can on here and being like, yeah, this is good. Like, people aren't convinced anymore. Like, you got to be like, no, like authentically, like this shit helps me. This shit doesn't. I'm starting to work with someone. I'm like, I don't want to sell out, but I want to be genuine and to myself. Like, because again, I don't need the money. Sure, it's nice, but like, I think your word and your honest opinion about things carries way more weight than a discount code.
1,000%. Some people don't think that way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know plenty of people. Now that I'm like in the influencer world, there's so many people that they'll tell me off camera, like, I know this product is shit, but they pay me a lot. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
then what is your word worth?
How can anybody trust you?
Yeah.
It's so sad.
It's like you live in a mansion, but do you have any friends to
Yeah.
have come over?
Money is I think money exacerbates whatever personality you already have.
Yeah.
Like any negative traits you might have, I think it just
Oh,
amplifies those.
now we get some wisdom from you.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I love that.
I want to ask you about fasted training. Do you ever train fasted? Because that was a big part of that podcast.
Oh,
And she didn't really answer the male side, and I was hoping she would. She only
Yeah.
talked about it from a female side, saying, correct me if I'm wrong, but like females probably should not train fasted at all. But she didn't really say if males should or not.
I think they might have a slightly better capacity to, but
Yeah.
I do not know enough about this topic to be.
Do you train fasted?
I do not.
Never, ever.
No, I want to do some more fast just to like clear out your gut
Mhm.
microbiome, and like there's a lot of proven benefits to fasting, but not mid-season for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even your like Monday morning 5 miles or something, you have something before that?
Yeah.
Okay.
She spoke about that, like having the right breakfast to have for male or female, and having some glucose in your system helps you perform at a higher level.
Yeah.
So even just like if it's half a banana or something, at least get something going, so that your body knows like it has energy on the way.
Yeah. So what do you normally do? What do you normally eat before a workout?
On my way to my long ass 12-mile track workouts on Wednesdays, I've got a giant thing of overnight oats with chia seeds, hemp seeds, walnuts. So all those like long burning energy, some honey in there, maybe some almond butter, oat milk in there. The one from Trader Joe's has nothing else in it. It's just oats and water.
Is this like a home? So it's all homemade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Simple, basic.
Yeah.
Not free, but cheap. And yeah, it works. Banana's great too. What else? I come home and I have avocado toast then. One of my big changes that I made when I was in my triathlon days was eating more healthy fats.
Mhm.
Those are the long burning energies, right? That
Yeah.
help you over the longer efforts, right after the 30 or 40 minutes where the glucose starts to wear off a little bit. I think so, 30, 40. But either way, they're helpful. They're healthy. Coconut oils, coconuts, avocados, those walnuts. I'm sure we can pull up some more examples, but healthy fats, baby.
Do you normally run in the mornings?
I do whenever it fits my schedule. If there's a German holiday, I run in the mornings.
Okay. When would you say you typically run then? Is it just like random, totally random?
Yeah, whenever my coach has me scheduled. Right now I'm running on Wednesdays and Fridays and a lot of my Saturday workouts. Yeah.
Okay. So only 3 days a week right now.
Yes, but they're long.
Okay.
Like 10
Interesting.
miles.
That's an interesting approach. It kind of goes against what I've heard most people say is like instead of doing like a couple really long runs, do like multiple shorter runs.
Yes, but I'm training for HYROX, so
Yeah.
I've got to do other things. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the Ironman training was really a test of scheduling and life balance and relationships, as it is for everybody. It's well known, like in the triathlon community, that it's just a strain on your personal life.
Yeah.
Because you have to do like an hour run and then like a 2-hour bike session the same day, or like a swim and a run, and like how do you fit that in? I think you got to prioritize what's important to you and personal and racing. And I'm finding ways to be intentional with this training where when I'm out there, I do my mobility and I run hard for 10 miles and with the rest in between. But it helps. I already have an aerobic base, and I think that is an important thing to distinguish, right? If you're still getting into running, if you're still running your first HYROX, you do need to hit some miles every day. I'd say like hit that 3 to 5 mile run or 3 to 7 mile run even, so that you build your aerobic base, because the majority of people can improve the most on their run.
Yeah. Dang. So 3 days a week, each one of those days is like a speed workout of some sort.
Yeah. Let me.
And I guess and I should preface, like when I heard, or when I see that like you should do fewer runs, when you should do more runs, fewer miles per run. I think it's mostly just like an injury prevention thing. So if you can handle 3 big 10-mile runs, you're probably fine versus like 5-6 mile runs.
Yeah. I'm just hesitant to like promote that because it's so different for everybody. Right. I mean,
I don't think from a fitness standpoint, it makes that big of a difference. Maybe it does. I don't know.
I think I've got athletes in my boot camp that are super strong, but their running is not good. And yeah, they need to be running like 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And then others that like their cardio is fine. They just need to work on strength more. And yeah, maybe just running 2 or 3 times a week is okay. I'd say work with a coach or get some advice. And even if you don't have a coach and you just want to do it on your own, like look at your splits of your first HYROX race and see where you can improve the most time. And if your running splits are way slower or diminishing or not stable, then that's really what you need to focus on.
I like that. That's good, dude. Yeah. This is a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anything we didn't talk about?
I'd say also, if you're training for HYROX specifically, compromise running is the name of the game. So you got to learn how to run when you're already tired. So do a workout, like do a ski or a row or a sled push or a heavy squats if that's what you need, and then run. And in the triathlon world, we call those brick workouts, right? Bike, running, in consecutive or in something. There's like 3 different acronyms for brick runs, but when you're running, when your heavy legs do not want to move.
Yeah, that's what I've learned. That's the biggest thing I've learned since starting HYROX training is like the running's important, the stations are important, but like being able to run with really tired legs.
Yeah.
That is who it seems like does the best.
Yep.
Yeah, because you said 60% of the race is running and 60% of this time is running with tired legs.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or at least as we did in that workout, I'll bring that one back. Biking, running, 2 minutes each. The middle minute is your full speed, but the last 30 and the first 30 are like your transition times.
Right.
Where all right, just move your legs, just shuffle, just get going. Do not walk. And you can gain so much more time in that first 30 and last 30 than you can by going way faster on the ski or the row or something like that.
Right. Make up a couple seconds here or there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm learning that. Like, I'm curious what your take would be on this. My running is my strong suit for sure for HYROX. I feel like I'd be better off running harder or like pushing harder on the runs and then pulling back a little bit on the strength and like not necessarily recovering on the strength side, but like just like for a row, it's a big effort for me to go from like 2-minute pace to like 150 pace.
Absolutely.
But I'd only make up 10 to 20 seconds.
20 seconds, exactly.
Whereas like if I don't know, do you think that's a good approach to like pull back a little bit on the strength stuff effort wise and then push harder on the runs and lean into that?
Yes. So I think if you're a solid runner like you are and you're trying HYROX for the first time and you've kind of tested out the stations and you kind of have a feel for it, don't go 90% on the stations. Like maintain some energy so that you can execute the best on your strength, right? Your runs.
Yeah.
Especially the sled push. That's the biggest one. So it's so easy. Well, yeah, it's so easy to just go the full distance. You go out and back twice, 4 lengths. It's so easy to go the full distance where I think it's best you always stop at the middle. And that's what I do even in the pro rates. I always take 8 stops. So I stop halfway at the end, rotate halfway at the end. That's 8 total stops because it'll catch up to you, right? Especially with a heavy movement. And I fully agree. There's ways to gamify this, and I'm happy to chat more on which stations gain you the most seconds per effort. So if you have, like the skiing is the most notorious one because people go out, it's super exciting. All the people are next to you. They're all trying to like one up each other, especially the guys. And like coming out and skiing at like 140 or something, which is just so fast. And and then don't worry, you'll pass them on the sled easily. Because they're just like, I'm going out and I'm hitting like 150, 153 on these skis, and I'm racing at a 105. And my runs are solid. So my runs are coming at like 410 per kilometer. So
okay.
Like if that's like, and if I went to 145, that 5 second would gain me 10 seconds over the whole 1K.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot, like, but I would be gassed.
Okay. So, okay. This is good to hear. This is reassuring.
Yeah. And then even a little bit at the end of I would slow down a little bit at the end of your station so that when you get off that machine, you can move your legs quickly. You can get out of the rock zone. If you went hard the whole time and then you're like, all right, now what? And then you're just like stumbling and walking around and being like, I need to take a little breather. Like, no, that's a breather that you could be jogging instead of walking.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
This is why you're the coach.
This is the secrets.
The
spilling
hybrid
all the
goose,
secrets.
dude.
Yeah.
This is great. Dude, anything else that we didn't talk about? Do you have any bucket list races you want to do? Like, do you want to do like a 100 miler, or like, do you want to break 2:46 in the marathon? Like,
So this year, my big goal last year was to get to the World Championships, and I did that, and I loved it. It was so fun. My goal this year is to fill my potential in my mind, which is I think I can get down to like a 63, maybe even a 62 minute, with the right fitness that I had during my race last year, which kind of blew up. It was hot. I had an issue with the sled pole. I actually had to lift it off the carpet. It got snagged in the carpet, and I think my CNS just got jacked. But I hate excuses. I'm going back to prove it. And my goal is this year is to hit 62 or 63 minutes.
Dang.
And then other races, Boston Marathon is in April. So I signed up for that, and I'm going to see how the HYROX training stacks up as a marathon block. That's what I did with Eugene. HYROX and marathon training are very similar. I think the half marathon compares the best in terms of race duration, but super pumped to do Boston. And people are like, "Oh, you can't PR there, like compared to Eugene." I'm like, "Watch me, like let's fucking do it. Let's."
I PR'd in Boston. You can do it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people definitely do it, but it was hot this past year, so people were like,
I mean, the weather's the biggest variable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Boston, it's just like logistically, it's kind of a difficult race.
Yeah.
Because like the whole bus thing and then driving out to Hopkinton, it's just like a long morning before you even get to run. So that can be challenging. But the course itself can run really fast.
Yeah.
For sure. Because it's net downhill.
Okay. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I should know this.
Yeah. I mean, you have like the 4 Newton hills.
Yeah.
But I'm like 99% sure it's a net downhill course.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It's going to a city.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, because Ryan Hall had the record there.
Okay.
I think he had set like the American marathon record, but it's like unofficial because it's like a net downhill and there's like a tailwind and whatever that day.
Gotcha.
But it can be a fast course for sure.
Phenomenal.
And dude, if you're already doing like these crazy treadmill incline workouts and like the sled push, like you'll crush the hills.
Yeah.
The hills aren't really that bad.
The hills are my strength. And I crave hill because it puts everyone behind me, and it's a strength for me because I'm a bigger dude.
Yeah.
So
I passed a lot of people on the hills.
Yeah.
For that same reason.
Yeah. You're a big dude too, man.
Well,
cruise up there.
I mean, not really.
Well, I think so, man. You're strong, and hey, those wall balls are adding up, man. It's what I love to see. I love to see some more strength, some more balanced athletes instead of. I mean, people be like, "Oh, running, you're gonna get skinny," or lifting, you're gonna get all bulky. Like it's not necessarily true.
No, I think most of it just has to do with your diet. Like as long as you're eating,
your
enough.
calories in and calories out.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, dude, this is great stuff. Anything else you want to throw out there that we missed?
Shout out Ketone IQ.
Yes, thank you, Ketone IQ, for not sponsoring this podcast.
No.
Fucking ketones, dude. My favorite is that they did the collab post with Riley Reid. Did you see that?
That was good.
Dude, I mean,
that was phenomenal marketing.
Yeah.
Like that, I was like, all right, I hate this product, but I mean, same with you take this part out, but like same with BPN. Like it's just like phenomenal marketing, but I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah. To each their own, I suppose.
The word hybrid.
Hybrid.
I talked about that. It's just a fancy word of cross training.
Being an athlete.
50 wall balls afterwards. Made that joke. Being an athlete. Instagram imposters.
I'm like that you came prepared for this.
Oh yeah, dude.
Most people don't, which they shouldn't have to, but you did.
I'm still off. I'm just referencing notes at the end.
I mean, I think it makes it better.
Hubes.
Did he send you a message? Is that, or was he reply to your comment or something?
He did, yeah. If you want to clip this into that part, Huberman replied to my story where basically I took a screenshot of a tweet of his very verbose description of doing hard things makes you resilient. He's like, and I'm like, wow, Huberman learned that doing hard things makes hard things easier. Like, And I think he got a PR team to like help him with the Instagram management because they liked it and laughed at it. And I was like,
that's hilarious.
Huberman is liking my posts. Somebody saw him here in Austin.
I saw him at Sun Life.
Oh yeah.
Maybe like 6 months ago.
Checks out.
He was just like sitting there eating a smoothie.
The LA hotspot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to meet him. He seems like a good dude.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely amazing guy, but obviously, I don't want to bash him.
He probably listens to this podcast,
disciple.
so
I know he's listening right now.
No, I think it's probably the like neuroscientist, like academic side of him.
Absolutely.
That has to put it in these like crazy big terms.
Yeah.
And like make it probably more complicated than it needs to be.
But it's just such a word salad.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like that because I think it's from the Goggins podcast he did where they talk about like that part of your brain that grows when you do hard things. I think that's actually pretty cool. But it's a simple concept, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes hard things easier.
Exactly. I love it. That's why we do it at the end of the day, I guess.
And we take cold plunges to send faster emails.
That's right. Dude, I got one downstairs if you want to hit one.
I'll do it right now. A great way to end it.
All right, dude. Where's the best place for people to connect with you if they want to reach out or send you a message or anything?
Reach out on Instagram at the Hybrid Goose. I know we mentioned a few times. Happy to answer questions or take your critical feedback. Let me hear it. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice, but I will tell you to get off your ass and do the simple things.
Dude, beautifully said.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming on, dude. This was fun.
Thank you for having me, Jeremy.
Beautiful. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a review, and share it with a friend. We'll see you in the next one.